something no one ever will understand. I wish you could see yourself just like I do. Maybe you would know by now I really liked you. Now I'm missing you. I'm full of myself, just like you. I'd rather break my own thread, like a needle I stitch you up, just for you to tear it again. Now I'm through.
If you don't speak, then you won't get spoken to. People only see you when you up, then they notice you. Trying to be a legend, create lines that's quotable. Only the real shall last, and I only know a few. People when they feelings always acting emotional. Ain't about a check, then it ain't negotiable. Gotta show respect to the people that's posting you. Soon to be on posters posted up like the older dudes.
Now we aging like fine wine, how we supposed to do? Peep the shade on the timelines, this how I'm supposed to cool.
Hi, I'm Brian Hare from Free Salon Education, and welcome to some hair care. I want to take you back to start us off to the year 2013. We had Macklemore teaching us about the thrift shop. We had Robin Thicke teaching us about blurred lines. We had Katy Perry teaching us how to roar. We also had a girl by the name of Tori Locklear teaching us what not to do when it comes to waving our hair with a YouTube tutorial mishap. A little bit of a reminder what we'll be talking about. We'll cue that video up and just refresh everybody on YouTube tutorials of yesteryear. You got
Hey guys, it's Tori. I'm basically just teaching you guys how to curl my hair. That's a wand. I have a wand. Clamping curling iron works too. Just don't use the clamp part because that's what makes your hair like that at the end, like how it like sticks up.
Fish hook.
So I recommend not using that. Take a shower. Use this. It's split remedy. It reduces up to 80% of split ends after 3 uses. But anyways. So basically, if you want like medium curls, then take a piece about this big. Maybe like to right there in your finger, like the middle of your finger. And then like do it like this and then like wrap it around. I think that this is what makes the curls look prettier. And like wrap it up.
I like the ring.
And then count 20. Count 20 or longer, actually. Oh my god. Kidding me.
Yeah, that happened. Poor thing. All right, so it's funny, this sort of was brought back up into the forefront of my memory as you talk with some guests about thermal protection, and I just realized that while it seems everybody saw that video, not everybody learned the lessons from that video, because here we are 8 years later and we still have people that don't quite understand how to prevent that from happening. So that's what I wanted to do with this video. I wanted to go over the what, why, and how to sort of address that issue and keep that from being somebody else's problem in the future. So thank you, Tori, for sparking this lesson for us all. The what of the situation is that she burned her damn hair off. Seems pretty simple. The why is where I get to come in and help you out a little bit. There's a couple of different things that could cause that to happen. Not necessarily saying that this is exactly what happened to her, but they are some whys on how this could happen to you and what you can do to prevent that. The first and foremost is if your iron is too hot. Her iron may have been way too hot. It could have been one of those irons where you don't have control over the heat. Because way too hot of an iron is going to burn right through that hair. You would never use a Star Wars lightsaber to curl your hair because you know it's going to cut right through your hair. There's not that much of a difference if you've got an iron with no heat control or with it turned way, way, way too high. Another possibility is if the hair was wet. The spray that she was using, you can tell by the nozzle, it has a wet delivery. When you have wet hair, it has a higher elasticity. And so what that means is your hair, based on its texture and condition or moisture level, can be more stretchy. And the more it stretches, the less structural integrity it has. So by putting pressure onto that structural integrity, you could also cause breakage or the hair to just tear. Speaking of tension, that is also something else that needs to be addressed in that situation. If you wrap the hair way too tight around an iron or press down too hard, you're also causing too much strain on the structural integrity of the hair and therefore cause it to rip, break, burn, tear, all those bad things that you never want to associate with hair. So rather than just tell you what not to do, I wanted to address those issues and help you with what to do in that kind of situation. First and foremost, addressing the too hot of an iron. You should be working with an iron. In this day and age, it is not hard to find something that gives you temperature control. If you are somebody who's going to heat style your hair ever, you need to be in control of how much heat you're putting on that hair, because nothing trashes hair faster than tools that are too hot. If you're someone that's going to style your hair often, you especially need to be taking care of this, because it's just going to age your hair really fast and lead to more mishaps like this if you're not in control of the heat. As far as what temperature you should be doing it at, I guarantee it's lower than you think. If an iron goes up to 400, just remember that 400 is what you would cook an entire Thanksgiving dinner on. So maybe dial that back a little bit. Talk to your hairdresser, talk to a friend, talk to somebody else about what temperature you think you should be using on your hair. As far as thermal protectants go, that's the biggest one that I have that conversation with my guests a lot, because there are several different types. I brought a couple here to show you. We use Paul Mitchell in my salon, so I just have different Paul Mitchell ones right now. And I wanted to just explain the difference between wet thermal protection and dry thermal protection. Over here, we've got more what's going to be used in wet hair. You've got Heat Seal, you've got the NeuroStyle Prime. A good indicator about what to use is the actual delivery system itself. When I pump this, it's a much wetter liquid that comes out. Therefore, that should tell you that it should be going in wet hair. Because if you make hair wet and then put it on an iron, you're gonna hear that sizzle, you're gonna hear that cook. It's just like when you cook something in a frying pan. That's not what you want on hair. So it should be dry hair on a dry tool. If you have a wet thermal protection, it should be on wet hair used for blow drying. That goes for creams as well. This is more of a lotion or a cream that also would wet hair if you put it onto dry hair, which should tell you it's for blow drying, not iron work. If you're looking for something for iron work, be it curling iron, flat iron, whatever your jam is, you're gonna wanna look for something that has a much drier delivery system. Spray it into the air, get your hands in it. If you don't feel your hands getting wet, then that's probably more for iron work, which will keep you safe. Every product line is gonna have at least one. Paul Mitchell has several for you to choose from, so you get to pick what your smell of choice is. That covers thermal protection. Always use protection. And then I wanted to address like the tension issue by just showing you a little technique. I went ahead, I got this girl most of the way going so that you don't have to watch me do an entire head, but I did leave this side out for you. So we're gonna put together all of the different things. I'm gonna go in with a decent temperature. I have my Neuro wand right here because she was using a wand. I'm gonna let it go to 350 because the texture of this hair has been lightened, so it's not going to need something too hot, but it is a little bit more coarse of an actual texture itself, so it can handle a little bit higher of a temperature. So we're gonna go in. I'm gonna take a section like she did, about this much of your finger, and then you're gonna make sure that you're giving it some thermal protection. Dry hair, I want a dry delivery. Give me a nice little mist. And then I noticed in hers, she had a death grip that she wrapped real hard around, and that's a little too much. We don't need that for the kind of look that you're going for. These are nice soft waves. We're not trying to create something. This, when you're using a wand, your look isn't really hard ridges. It's not really firm curls. It is more loose and cool and chill. So that should be the approach that you take to applying it to the iron. For me as a stylist, it's easier to come in this way. If you're doing this on yourself, you may want to come up from under, but I am wrapping away from the face. I have a light grip on this with my finger, nothing crazy firm, no death grip, because I don't want to add too much tension. I don't want to stress the hair out because this is a hot iron. And if I'm applying too much pressure, too much heat, it's just too much stress for the hair. Now you got a nice soft curl. Personal touch, while it's still warm, I like to give it a little soft tug so that it takes out a little bit of the hard structure of that curl. Give yourself a little bit of protection. Soft come around. And then just let it settle. Give it a little tug like you're untying shoes. Little side note, when you're spraying anything onto the hair, especially something at this point where you're going to be moving right into the style afterwards, I suggest spraying down the hair shaft because that just helps to make sure that you're not upsetting the cuticle too much, which can cause to frizz, tangling, all of the unhappy stuff. As far as getting a little bit more structured of a curl, rather than the softer wave, you can still use your wand, but now I'm just gonna make sure that I'm feeding the hair onto the wand in a flatter technique rather than holding it like a rope and wrapping it around like she did. So if you start, you get that flatter, almost looks like you're using a curling iron, but you're in a little bit more control because you're doing this all with your hands and not with the lip of a curling iron. When you let go, you see it's a little more corkscrew. Still give it that little tug for softness. Come in and do the same thing up front. Wrap it flat around the rod. Don't go crazy with your tension. My little tug. For our final section, we will combine everything we've learned here. Give it that thermal protection. Check your heat. Wrap it around. Do a little bit of a combo. It's flat at the top, which is going to give it a little bit more structure, and then a little bit softer down at the end because I've let the hair roll up. When you let go, let that sit. Give you your little tug for softness. And then that last section around the face. All right. So once you've let everything cool, I like to come through, give it a nice little brush through, and that will help to take out the structure of the curl that you put in, again, resulting in a nice soft wave. So that it has that relaxed, undone feel, not too much structure to show off whatever work has been put into the hair, whether you did it or your hairdresser did. Show off that nice cut, show off that nice color, and try not to burn your bangs off. All right, so I hope that helped out. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on the Instagrams at hairstyle. Be sure to go to freesaloneducation.com, download our app for whatever kind of device you're using, and come play with us. Watch all our videos, check out all the tutorials, and become part of our community. All right, I think that's it.
You want to see if anybody has questions?
Yeah, you want to hit up, let's see for our live folk,
Yeah, we can do some live Q&A for a minute.
Yeah, because that was a quick guy.
Yeah.
So we're here for you. Everyone that's on, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us. And I do forget the Fahrenheit to Celsius thing makes a huge difference.
This is hilarious, this comment right
Oh my God,
found it.
yeah, right?
here. Yeah, that would have been like,
She's fantastic. She's doing great. Her YouTube profile picture, her hair is gorgeous. So I guess it's grown back.
what is her full name?
Tori Locklear.
Okay. Just so everyone knows, we got that video from her page.
Yeah, it's her. She get full credit.
For all, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, Fahrenheit's confusing. I know, I'm sorry.
I guess
I can't imagine 400 Celsius what that would be. Oh, you
everybody's
like my
just
haircut? Thanks.
complimenting you.
I got a sweet little barber in Philly. He does nice work. I'll let him know.
He does nice. Don't bleach your hair and then use a cheap straightener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That goes back to what I'm saying about just checking out the hair's elasticity and what it can handle. Because your elasticity is going to vary based on the condition of the hair, if it's been, processed a whole bunch. It's going to vary based on the texture of the hair just naturally before any kind of processing. So no two people are going to require the same care for doing this type of work. So really just, give it a minute. Don't just mindlessly turn the iron onto something really high and jump in, because people are going to need different things. As far as my curling tool, honestly, that depends. Because I reach for different size and shaped wands just as quickly as I'll reach for a Marcel iron or a clipped curling iron. It really just depends on the look and what tool will best get the job done based on that hair. So I suggest getting to know all of your tools that you have at your disposal and what to expect from each of them, so that you've got a bigger wheelhouse and a more effective toolbox. Oh, thank you. And no, Matt doesn't cut my hair. I mean, he has, but it's one of those things, like when you go somewhere else to get your hair done, you get the experience of getting your hair done versus hey, I have 45 seconds. Can you just do this really quickly?
Yeah. If I lived in Philly, I would do the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, there is no shortage of barbers
Going
around
somewhere
me.
Here.
Right. I mean, it's us. It's you know what? I got this. Let me just go sit down and pretend like I'm a real client.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of nice. It's nice.
It's fun.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Man, you nailed it.
Hey, quick and dirty.
No questions. All right.
All right.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Enjoy your weekend.
Yeah. It's
Hopefully
been fun.
Doing something fun. And hopefully the schedule, I'm trying to think of what next week holds, but we'll get the schedule out hopefully earlier than later.
Yeah.
And
I'll be back on Wednesday.
yeah, Wednesday.
You want to come play live?
Yeah. All the live classes should be good next week.
That it?
All right, cool. I think we're good. Have a good weekend. Adrian, have a good weekend. Everybody, we will see you next time.
Awesome.
Goodbye.
So here we go again, it's no surprise. 'Cause we know better than to roll the dice. So take this love and try to make it new. You can't fight it when it feels so true. You drive me crazy like no one else. The final moment before I lose myself. And it's no use working 9 to 5 if you want more than to stay alive. So come on over, we can make it through. Take my hand, I know just what to do. On the beat, keep dancing through the night. Stay Superman.